Thanks. You might as well sit over there by a microphone. I think we have to call on you. Are we ready? All right. I'll call the April 7th Utility Committee meeting to order. Can we get an approval of the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
How's everybody? And approval for last meeting's minutes.
I move to approve the last meeting's minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes. I told you. You're up.
The first one.
The water audit.
That's on a delay.
Yeah, it's got a little delay on it. Go ahead.
Okay, so I gave you 3 graphs, and the first one is the Redoso NRW. So for this one, the bars in green, you can see that it went down a little bit. And then for the infrastructure leakage index, it went up, and that is because of the fires and floods of last year and the houses that burned. So that's why it increased. And then if you turn the page to the second graph, the corrected, the blue line, it's the corrected total water supply, and that one kind of went up and down, and then at the end, it kind of went down a little bit. You can see the line is below the 700. And then for the billed authorized consumption, that one stayed steady. And then if you turn to the third graph, you can see that the blue dotted line, which is the corrected total water supplied, and that one kind of zigzagged a bit, and it ended a little high. It was also due to the floods and the
fire.
water used for the fires. And then the black dotted line, it's a non-revenue water, and that one also spiked a little bit towards the end.
And this is, like Jackie said, this is all due to this is a trailing 12 months, so this is due to the floods and the fires. We went up, I think last year at this time, we were right at 52% non-revenue. This year, we're a little bit higher. I think we were right at 58, but that taking into account the about 11 million gallons we used to fight the fire. It's water loss, however you want to look at it, because it's not billed. So that's kind of where we're at with that one.
And y'all didn't have very many water breaks, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Line breaks?
We had, during the fire, our main thing was the houses that burned, and they were spraying water. So by the time it took us out, to get out there and shut them off, we did isolate certain parts of the town just because we knew, we couldn't get to them right away. But, that was about the 4th day of the fire, after the houses had burned. That's when we're starting to see the big drops in the tanks, and that's when we started isolating. So we lost quite a bit of water.
Did you?
Yeah.
About with the boring?
Oh, yeah.
You guys are losing a lot there.
Yeah, we're losing.
All the time.
Yeah, it's there for the first month. They were boring. It was every day, a couple times a day, even on Saturdays. So, they're boring across the roads. They hit us 3 times on Upper Terrace. They hit us a few times up there off of University, and they've gotten, knock on wood, they've gotten a little better because I think they stopped boring, but it's been rough with them. So hoping, I think they said July, the end of July is they're supposed to have everything done. So I'm hoping that'll stop for a while.
So why are they missing it? You guys are marking the lines, I would assume.
Oh yeah, they're not missing them. They're hitting them dead on.
I know, yeah.
No,
They think that's a target instead of what's.
And that was the thing, like on Upper Terrace, they hit us, and the first time they hit us on Upper Terrace, it was not marked. It was marked off. We didn't know the line was way off the road here. That was on a Saturday. Went out, repaired it. The guys went out Monday morning and potholed the line all the way down and marked it, and they would still hit us. And, I think part of it was the rock, they're trying to shoot to
Yeah.
a certain grade and they hit rock and it would kind of dive down, but yeah, it was pretty interesting for a while.
It's hard to see that when it's underground.
Exactly, yeah.
So do you want to be Randy or?
I'll be Randy. You may talk a lot? Just kidding. Okay, so, the first one would be the water storage tank rehabilitation, phase one. So the first of this project was the grindstone tanks. They did the 1 mil, first, and it was in such bad shape that it was gonna cost us more to, repair it than it would be to even replace it. So we went ahead and took the 1 mil offline. We do still have the 3 mil online. So maybe in the future we'll put another one up there, but right now it's actually helped us out with our TTHMs, the organics in the water when we do our testing, because the way that the tanks were plumbed in, that especially when we ran the interconnect, you were getting, you had more time on one tank than the other, and that's when your organics start growing. So now that we have plenty of water cycling through that tank now, so it's actually helped us out a bunch in that one. The second part of that was Hull and Gavilan. That one is complete and back online. They did the rafters, the roof, the subgrade, and they had some pits that they found inside the tank that they filled, recoated it, and repainted the exterior and interior of the paint of the tank. So that one is back online. As of right now, we actually took it to council, this last council meeting, to take the 1.5 mil offline on Pikes Peak, so they could start it. Friday, we drained it down to 15 feet. Right at between 13 and 15 feet is when people up high start running out of water. Saturday, the people had real low pressure, so the guys went out and switched the tanks back over, and they're draining the rest of the 15 feet out of that. I think this morning they're at 3 feet of water in that tank, so DNR tanks can start on that one also. They should be complete June 1st.
So how full was that tank when they started running out of pressure?
15 feet.
50 feet?
15 feet, yeah. Right at 15 feet, I remember back in the day, I was actually in Albuquerque, and the people, Leo Martinez and the guy up there called and said they didn't have any water. And our telltale gauge on there wasn't working. And just come to find out right at 15, between 13 and 15 is where they run out of water, because they're not actually hooked up to the main line going off the hill. They're actually hooked onto a line on Olympia or Sandia there that runs back up the hill on a 6-inch on the distribution side. So when it gets down that far, you'll start losing pressure and losing water up there.
How's the diversion coming?
So the next one, diversion, Upper Canyon diversion. So it's going slow. There's been some delays. When they first started the project, it was right after the flood. We had to desilt some stuff, take some debris out of the river. They wanted more debris taken out because it was down on the lower side of the structure. So we got Jack Johnson. He was a little bit cheaper than hiring them to do it. And then we've had a little issue with them working a full week. There's been some issues with the engineering. The first engineering firm we had on there had some elevations that were really off. And we got Sutter Miller on it. They're doing the project management, but they're still having to kind of coincide with what was done by the prior engineering firm. So they're doing the best they can to communicate with them on any kind of changes, but a lot of the elevations were bad. There's a lot of field engineering need to be done, especially with the Kawanda screen, the way it went inside the center block or the concrete, the measurements and how it was attached to it there were some issues there, but they're only about 35% complete on that. But we're working with them to try to get it pushed through. So they have a pit there that they're having to put a box, and it's about 18 feet deep.
So are they gonna be able to complete it before the inch of snow melts up there and we get runoff?
That's what we're pushing them for, and we've told them, that it's gotta be complete, by May. sometime. I mean, their substantial completion was actually, March 31st, and final was, April 23rd. So we're actually taking it to council for a change order this next council meeting for, some time for them. Riverwell, that one is complete. We finally got the as-built on it. Riverwell, Riverwell's yes, we got the Riverbell well, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the other two wells. Riverwell is the one at the snow park. The only thing, we had to pull the contractor, the well driller back off during the snow season so Dorgan could make his snow. He's got about a week worth of work left. He's just gotta, hook up the pit lists and do some cleanup there, and then that one will be complete with as-built. I'm not sure about the source water protection plan, that's on Randy, I'm not sure what his update would be on that one. Two Rivers, this is actually Jackie too, but I'll go ahead and, good.
You can't escape.
Yeah.
That's right, your name's down here a couple times.
I like that. Put in my steps.
Yeah.
The Two Rivers, that's a project that we are doing. It's having to do with like the Anaconda line that they call it. So we are going to bury the whole pipe from Two Rivers all the way to Grindstone, the pump back. And right now, it's on 60% complete, has been submitted. And then the engineer also submitted some renderings showing the electrical panel that's going to control the pump, because the pump will be underground, and it's going to be right next to the bathrooms. So as of right now, that's where the project stands. It's they're just doing the, I think they're going to do 10 potholes just to make sure. I think it's from Carrizo to,
The pump back.
yeah, because that's where the pump is, the pipe is buried. So they just want to make sure they know where it's at, where they can locate it so that they don't hit any other utilities that are underground. And I think they're going to do 10 of those potholes.
What's the timeframe on burying that?
Well, this was actually part of the Water Trust Board funding, and I think this next round will apply to actually have the funding to get the pump and the burial in that. So you're probably looking at the end of the year sometime before we hear anything. Of course, it kind of held us up also. We had to wait for the new floodplain maps and stuff to come out in order to get the electrical and the, stuff. Now it's gonna have to, sit above the ground and all, there's gonna be a structure next to the bathrooms with all the electrical in it, so.
Well, you said that, a few years ago that you guys usually go out every couple of weeks and inspect the line.
Yep.
How's it looking?
It looks good, and that's one of the things that Jackie and I had brought up to the engineers. Why don't we use the same, same pipe? It's already there. All you gotta do is, extend out a few, few joints, extend it out to be able to bury it. But they said that they didn't wanna put their stamp on it and trust the pipe that's there because they didn't put it in, and it's been exposed to the elements, is what their reasoning was.
You're gonna go with 10-inch ID or?
They'll do they're going with the 12-inch ID, yes, sir, and they'll bury it. So, I think the pipe there that we have on the ground is good. It's been exposed to the elements, but that's what it was made for. That pipe's, an inch and a half thick.
You guys use it anywhere?
We have not used it because the flood took out the pump.
Can you repurpose it?
I'm sure we can use it somewhere, yeah. We can use it for one of the wells or something like that. Actually, it'd be good pipe for the raw water line. We have a 10-inch, where AUI did their project, probably 10 years ago, that goes through the ball fields and across the highway there. They did 10-inch HDPE, so we can have some of it on hand if not. And Randy and Terry actually have the equipment to about fuse that pipe.
So we'd have to use it on a project that doesn't get engineered?
Yeah, that or for repair, but we'd have it on hand.
So have you been using that line at all?
No, the flood took out that pump. So we're having to do a new pump, and they're actually gonna put a vault in the river with like a Kiwanda screen to be able to clean it out. Instead of now it just has the hose sitting in there, and we found the hose down there by Paradise. So, it'll be all buried, and it'll be it'll look a lot better than it did, you know, now.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Jackie.
You're on again.
High loop water line replacement. The contractor's been procured, the contractor's actually on site. We gave notice to proceed March 10th. As of right now, they have about 3,500 linear feet in the ground. The project is right at 18,600 linear feet of 6-inch C900 with fire protection. So like I said, that contractor, they're the same ones that did the Pine Cliff project, and man, they're really stand up to work with. They've done a great job with us. So hopefully, knock on wood, it continues. And then just kind of along those lines, we're going after a couple grants for, actually, a Water Trust Board has said that they'll start funding some sewer projects. So we're gonna look into trying to get some Water Trust Board grants and some NMED grants to do Pine Cliff and High Loop after this project, so we can have that completely done and paved like we had talked about, you know, to get the water in and then get the sewer in, and then we'll repave the roads on the second project.
You're gonna use them instead of community block grant?
Oh yeah, they're a lot easier to work with.
Sure.
Holy cow. It's, you know, they'll give you the money, but the reporting and then the hoops you have to jump through as far as like the environmentals and stuff like that it just takes so long to get that money in the bank. It's kind of hard to deal with. And then the reporting during the project itself.
Yeah.
Starlight Road Repair, we have procured a contractor through a statewide price agreement, Rymark, they're from Albuquerque. They have subcontracted MP Chavez to do that work. It's gonna be design build. We have Bohannon Houston as our engineer, so they're gonna be out on site 2 days a week. They'll be doing the red line drawings, the as-built, and then they'll stamp it when it's complete. So we'll have an engineer drawing when it's all said and done. We'll put 6-foot culverts, 2 6-foot culverts crossing Starlight. It'll come straight down instead of coming to a Y like it did before. It's gonna come straight down and be a 90-degree on each side. And then we're gonna put 3 48-inch culverts across Paradise. So talking to the contractor today, he doesn't think he's gonna have to raise up Paradise anywhere. You know, if you look at it, there's a little dip right there where the culverts cross right now. He thinks he's got enough to get the 48s in there with all the utilities, and we won't have to mess with it too much. He'll straighten it out a little bit, but before we're gonna have to go like 400 feet down the road and repave up and build it up. So hopefully it'll come in a little cheaper than we first
So
thought.
are those culverts coming in cheaper than just spanning it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And we were actually gonna use the box culverts we have on site. We have those 7-foot box culverts that we had from 2008. But the main contractor, talking with the engineer, you know, the gaskets and everything that it takes to put those together, you know, they're all cracked up from sitting in the weather. And then to actually line them up and get them together, it's gonna take longer than just putting CMP culverts in there. And the way he's talking about now is he'll make the grade on the bottom. He'll come up on Starlight, he'll come up about 3 feet, so we'll have a sediment basin where that little structure is between Hull and Paradise there. So he'll come about 3 feet, set the culverts in there, and then he'll flowable fill all the way to the top of the culverts, and then come up with native soil and base course and then pave it. Paradise, he's gonna flowable fill almost to asphalt level, so there won't be any organics there. You know, if we do get a flood and it does overcome it, it's not gonna take out the road. It's gonna, the culverts will stay there. And then NRCS projects, so we got, the NRCS is actually working. They've started at Eagle Bridge, on the east side of Eagle Bridge. They cleaned in front of the condos there. They jumped to the other side. They're working there's one contractor working from the west side of Eagle Bridge all the way up to Highway 48. We have another contractor working from 48 up Sleepy Hollow to Main Road 1, and then another one working from Main Road 1 to Main Road 2. WX Septic is at Main Road 2. They will go up to west side of North Loop, where the old bridge was, and then Jack Johnson's working from the reservation line down to the North Loop, desilting the river.
And what are they doing? Are they just cleaning it now, or?
They're just cleaning it, they're desilting, they're using some rock to stabilize the banks, and I know there's gonna be some HESCOs and stuff put up in some of the spots just to hold the water in. But they are doing like the Eagle Bridge, we have those two sewer line crossings that are exposed up there. They're gonna frame up and pour concrete, so it's a smooth transition on each side instead of a wall. So they'll be doing, you know, little things like that just to help us out and help some homeowners out as far as some erosion. But it has started, and I think WX has got 6 trucks running just from Main 2 right now. MP Chavez has got at least 8 trucks running, and then Jack Johnson's got at least 4 or 5 trucks running from the end of Upper Canyon.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in Sleepy Hollow this morning. There's not much room in there for them to
No,
work.
there's not. Yeah.
No, but I think with the new floodplain map and all that, Sleepy Hollow will be non-existent anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty wide.
So are they doing any work on those condos as far as the mitigation where that was coming over Eagle Bridge? They just kind of,
They did it before they started, the NRCS started, they had a contractor down there doing some armoring at the bottom of the condos. But that bottom floor, you know, if if you look at the flood maps, it goes straight through the bottom of that condo. So I don't know exactly what they're gonna do with the bottom floors of those
I wonder
condos.
if they're gonna, because that got hit last time.
They got hit hard.
David that said that it didn't get into Dave Meyer said it didn't get into the electrical, so that didn't have to condemn it.
Yep. No, but they flooded them out pretty good down there. So, and then, you know, if you look at Eagle Bridge, you know, it's built up. We had, I think in 13 or 14, we had Jack Johnson come clean under the bridge because it had silted in. So that's gonna be part of the NRCS project also is, cleaning out, they're gonna clean out both sides and then they're gonna clean out underneath the bridge. So hopefully we'll have a little bit more flow there and maybe it'll keep it from overtopping the first couple floods until the silt comes back.
So they're just doing cleanup. They're not trying to put any Disney World structures up there now?
No, there'll be some structures, like I said, some HESCOs, and there'll be some armoring in the banks, and they're trying to use a lot of the river rock that's actually there to armor, so, you know, to protect from scouring and stuff of the river banks, but it's gonna be just mainly just desilting, getting the river level back down to bedrock.
So they got any plan in place to, of course, we don't use the word dredge, but to remove some of that silt whenever it floods?
No, I think it's what it's gonna be, and with NRCS, it's a one-time thing, you know, until there's another national disaster, you know, they're gonna go up, clean it out, and, you know, there's not any way to put any, trash racks on the village property, because there's nowhere to disperse the water to. I know, the King Industries has been working with the tribe, you know, talking to them, I guess, and there need to be some structures up top to, you know, catch some of that debris, but I don't see it going very far, truthfully. That's where they need to be. But as far as what they're doing now, it's just gonna be desilting once and hopefully,
Yeah, they talked about that earlier on, but nothing's really been done.
yeah.
Well, NRCS might be handy if you guys get the money to buy some of those flooded private properties, but.
Yep. And I know that, you know, it's going through the county. The county's the main agent on it. They're the grantee on it. So, I know,
Feds haven't released any of that money, have they?
no, they haven't. No, that's the thing is, you know, even the match, you know, cause the village and the county will have to come up with a match for that. And I mean, you're looking at, you know, $400 million and then the match, there's no way you could afford it. I mean, so there's gonna have to be some kind of waiver or something in there to help out.
Of course, now's the perfect opportunity if it would work.
Yep.
You don't get that very often.
Yep. And that's all I have.
And I guess you're done too, Jacqueline. You don't have to come back.
Some more with it.
Yeah, you can come share some more, tell us the story.
All right, well, it says the next meeting's July 7th. Does anybody have anything else?
I think I'm good on this end.
Tight meeting there, Mr. Chairman.
What's that?
You run a tight meeting.
That's right, this may be a record. Don't let anybody come and you can get out in a hurry. All right, the meeting's adjourned. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.